media. I wanted to talk about and share a couple tips on time management tips. And really, this is just a great playoff of Mr. Bookspan stopping by. I would rather, Todd, at the end of the day, rather get 3 root canals than having to sit down and put together a business plan. The business
Yeah,
plans are
yeah.
exhausting and so forth. So what we've done here is I wanted to simplify it and really kind of get rid of a lot of the noise when it comes down to putting together a business plan and talk about what's really truly important. What's truly important at the end of the day is closing more deals. So what I do for myself, and I love again what Todd Bookspan had to say, is look back over the years, see what's worked best for you. But coming up on 2021. It's important to identify the top 3 to 5 primary lead sources. Where are you going to get the majority of your leads? Where are you going to focus your time? Where are you going to focus your monies? Where are you going to focus your attention? And then what you're going to do is you're going to sit down and you're going to develop a strategy and a plan for each one. And this can take some time and it's going to evolve. And Todd, as we've learned, I think one of the biggest problems that we face as real estate agents is there's so much noise out there. There's so many shiny objects out there, and we end up chasing so many different lead sources, throwing up so much stuff up against the wall, just hoping something is going to stick, rather than just really sitting down and focus and honing on where are the 3 to 5 primary lead sources and building those strategies and plans for each one. Todd?
Yeah, Michael, this is brilliant because so many people are misunderstood as to all that they think they've got to do everything. They think they got to have a 12-cylinder motor, and I look at lead sources as cylinders in an engine. If you have only one lead source and your engine dies, or your cylinder dies, that lead source dries up, you're out of work, you're out of business, you're retooling. You're making masks instead of whatever your primary business is. The fact here is that when you have a 2 to 4 cylinder, say a 4-cylinder motor, in your car, right? If you have a bad cylinder, a spark plug's bad, your engine dies even with a 4-cylinder motor. When you have a 6-cylinder motor, that you can at least limp. If one of your cylinders dies, you can at least limp to a gas station or a service station, or at least off the freeway. So it begs the argument. It is always better to have more cylinders than fewer. However, you get to a point where now you have 6 or 8. Now all of a sudden you're spending big money in fuel, right? Well, that fuel is your money you have to spend ahead of time to be able to get leads. So to Mike's point, 3 to 5 is really, you don't need to have a ton. You just have 3 to 5 and understand what works best for you and what you're going to continue to do every day. But I want to just recap real quick the question that we brought up earlier between business plan. A business plan is a pen. It's what helps you identify your goals, where you're headed, what you need to do to accomplish your life's plan at the end of the year. Then there's a thing called an action plan. So Mike, to your point, nobody likes to create a business plan because, they create the business plan. They don't have any idea how to get to those numbers, to be quite honest with you. But an action plan is what you have to create after you've created your business plan, which basically tells you, what do I think I need to do to get there? And then you build the plan, and that's what you change. You change your action plan along the way. You never change your business plan, because your business plan is where it's your life's mission. But your action plan allows you to take into consideration what changes in your statistical, what changes in your conversion, what life changes and puts upon you that you didn't anticipate. But just so that we can lay that out there, you have to have a business plan first. But the moment you're done with your business plan, get with your team leader or your coach for an action plan.
All right, and I love the illustration you put with the cylinder. So if I was there and I had the bell, I would give you a ding. That was a really good one. All right, point number 2,
Thanks,
time
Nick.
management tips, because really what does come down to, at the end of the day, no matter how great your business plan is or your action plan is, if you can't manage your time, you're not going to be successful. So determine how much time must be devoted to each. Once you've identified your 3 to 5 primary lead sources, it's not enough just to identify them, but you actually have to break down an actual strategy for them. You have to break down each lead source strategy, and then you got to determine how much time needs to be devoted each day. And this is really what comes down to planning out your week and what your time management looks like. And once you know what your top 3 to 5 primary lead sources are, you can sit down and take a look and say, okay, how much time is going to, or is each one going to require each day or each week or each month to be actually successful? And then that way you can start managing your time and you can be more efficient with your time. And each lead source has to have its own specific strategy and flow chart, again, in what must be done, those action items, whether some lead sources require daily attention. Some of them may require weekly attention, but each one needs to have a flow chart. Each one needs to have a checklist, and each one needs to have a very specific strategy in which you are going to implement it. And again, it's going to come down to how much time is each one, how much time you spend on each one. Because Todd, what I find is we identify the lead sources, but we're just more reactionary than anything else, rather than actually implementing our calendar to meet the requirements of those lead sources.
I think looking back, Mike, over the year of all the different, 3-packs that you do, the thing here is we're going to find that this one is going to, I think, be one of the most instrumental ones, believe it or not, in an agent's growth for 2021, because, it doesn't matter if somebody, I hate when somebody says full-time, part-time, you a full-time agent, you a part-time agent. The reason I hate it is because it in itself, the question is confusing, because, it's not about how much time you spend, it's how effective and efficient you are with the time you spend. So I've seen some people who were, single parents, couldn't work before 9, couldn't work after 3 because they had to pick their kids up. And they were so much more successful than somebody who was necessarily putting in 8 hours a day, quote unquote, at the office working, whatever that definition is. So less time isn't always equal more efficient or more effective, because sometimes the people that can't put the extra hours in, all it means is I can't waste 3 extra hours. If I got 6 hours or 5 hours I can spend in real estate today, because of my life, my station, my, just this, everything, I have to be more effective than the person that's got 8 hours all day long. So sometimes the person that's got 8 hours, and it's human nature to immediately think that if I'm not hitting my numbers, I've got to spend more time at the office. And that's not true. It just means you're not being effective with your time.
Yeah, we all know full-time agents that work part-time schedules.
Hey, I like that. That's good.
All right, point number 3, and actually really now comes down to the specifics of managing your time. If we can get point number 3 up, that'd be great. All right, manage your calendar. So this is when it really comes down to now time blocking. When you know how much time each day, week, or month needs to be devoted to each primary lead source, you can now schedule it into your calendar and time block it. And so what we do at Recon do things a little bit differently, but everybody has got an actual Excel spreadsheet of the entire week broken down per hour. And so we define 3 different types of activities. We define our red time. Our red time is the time that is devoted to things that aren't actually making us money. It could be admin, could be posting on social media. A lot of the strategies behind each lead source would go into red time. The green time is the actual activities that are actually making you money, whether it's prospecting, showing homes, going to networking events, and so forth. And really it's the implementation of those lead sources. And of course, we like to always schedule yellow time, which is more idle time, scheduled stuff with the family, whether it's things like church or things that are regular family or personal times. And then what we do is on the Excel spreadsheet, because you can now time block. As you time block, you can color each block red, green, and yellow. And once you've done that, you can take a look at it and you can see whether you're balanced. If you've got too much red on your calendar, that means you're not spending you're not spending enough time on activities helping you make money. If you got way too much green time, you might be finding yourself behind on some admin stuff, and then it might be time to hire an assistant or something like that. So if you are interested in a blank calendar Excel spreadsheet that we have, you can always email me at mikew@westusa.com, and I'll send that out to you. But for the sake of time, we're going to move on to some announcements.